Wrestling fans are not happy right now. It seems that everything is going wrong. John Cena's heel run was short-lived and underwhelming. His retirement tour is inconsistent. We've just found out that WrestleMania 43 is happening in Saudi Arabia despite fans begging for an international WrestleMania in their country for many years. You now have to spend $30 on ESPN Plus if you're an American, and you still receive adverts. So it's no surprise that going into ESPN Plus's first premium live event, Wrestlepalooza, fans were just ready to bite, waiting for any excuse and any reason to bite. And bite they did. But one match on this card is a must-see. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Brock Lesnar and John Cena opened the card, and many people were excited to see this. I heard many people say online when it was announced that the match would open the card that it was a case of Brock Lesnar definitely going over and John Cena getting the comeback in the future pay-per-view. And that is what happened. And the match people were excited for. John Cena and Brock Lesnar, heated rivalry in the past. Get to do it one last time before John Cena rides into the sunset. But it wasn't as great as many people had hoped. And I have some controversial opinions on this match. I don't think it was as bad as people say until the end of the match when the finisher sequence happened. You know, people were saying that the match was slow paced. I don't think so. I think John Cena took some hard, impactful bumps. People were saying that the lengthy bear hug took them out of it. I don't think it was that lengthy, and I quite enjoyed the sequence where John Cena tried to break out, failed several times. But where I'll agree with most people is that at the end, John Cena hits an AA, Brock Lesnar right back up. John Cena hits an AA again and goes for the pin. But should an AA be no-sold even by the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar? And what made matters worse is when John Cena and Brock Lesnar got back up, Brock Lesnar hit John Cena with an F5 and John Cena popped right back up. Should an F5 be no-sold even by John Cena, this legendary superhero-like figure? The match came to an end after a third F5 that I was just sat there going, well, that was too short, and this ending sequence ruined it. What was a good match in my opinion up until then. Also, before I forget to mention it, Paul Heyman was back announcing Brock Lesnar, announced him as an NCAA champion, a UFC champion and a WWE champion. So on Friday when Brock Lesnar said, I want to talk to you, that's clearly what it was about. Paul Heyman even called Brock Lesnar John Cena Conquering. The next match on the card, we go into The Vision versus the newly reunited The Usos. This match was quite good, and it's incredible what Braun Breaker can do. That standing belly-to-belly suplex is absolutely incredible. The Frankensteiner, he's quite an incredible athlete. I would not be surprised if in 5 years' time he's main event in WrestleMania or he has the WWE Championship around his waist. He's a generational talent. LA Knight is the guest special referee for this match, and he does a lot of carrying of the match. Him and Jey Uso with their funny sequences. On the outside, LA Knight allows Jey Uso to use a weapon, which basically turns the match into a no disqualification match. He then seems to have no problem when the Slim Jim table is pulled out from under the ring. There's a part where Jey Uso almost hits LA Knight with a chair when he's going for Bronson Reed, and that's quite a funny sequence. And at the end, we get the Vision picking up the victory over the Usos. It'll be interesting to see where this goes in the future. Now on to the must-see match of the evening. Stephanie Vaca versus Io Sky. Many fans online were saying, oh, the crowd was dead for Wrestlepalooza, and I think that's right. I think it was. But I find it so impressive how Io Sky can turn that dead crowd into an engaged crowd by the end of a match. You definitely can hear the difference when the opening sequence happens. The crowd are dead silent. You could hear a pin drop, and by the end of the match you can tell they're engaged. They want to see what Io Sky is going to do. They want to see what Stephanie Vaca is going to do, and the match has got a great reception, and I think it was the most impressive match of the night. I quite liked it a lot. We get some fun back and forth between Stephanie Vaca and Io Sky, and the aerial maneuvers is what impressed me the most. Io Sky moves so well, and she's so athletic, and Stephanie Vaca is right there to complement her high-flying style with a more brutish style. We get this amazing sequence where Io Sky jumps up onto the ropes and then does a flying double drop kick, and you can see her just kicking her legs on the floor, and it's quite, it engages the fans. The fans love to see that. It's followed up with a moonsault onto the outside, and it's not looking good at first. It looks like Io Sky landed quite badly, but I'm glad to see that she's okay. I don't want to give too much away because this is actually a very exciting match. You know, they go into further action, further back and forth action. It's really entertaining and engaging, and you should go check out this match. And Io Sky manages to get the win, and takes the women's championship. On to the match that I was very interested to see what would happen. CM Punk teaming up with AJ Lee, who has not wrestled in 10 years, to take on Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Now, this match started quite interestingly. It was very cool. We get some what is essentially heel work from the faces of the match, as CM Punk gets Seth Rollins in the corner, and then AJ Lee pulls on his hair and grabs at him and beats him in the corner. Not really what a face would do, but we'll let it slide. It's an entertaining sequence. Seth Rollins then tries to use Becky Lynch as a weapon. He tries to throw Becky Lynch onto CM Punk. CM Punk manages to roll out of the ring, and Becky Lynch just falls flat. It was a funny sequence. CM Punk goes for the tag, and Becky Lynch pulls AJ Lee onto the floor. Seth Rollins then skips around her to mock her, and you can tell the crowd in the front row is very into this. AJ Lee gets in the match and does a Fez press, and then the coolest thing happens. AJ Lee has Seth Rollins in like a cutter position for a cutter, and CM Punk grabs her legs and throws her in the air, and she kind of she goes back. I don't even know what to call the move, and she lands on Becky Lynch and goes for the pin, and it's just a really cool sequence. I would get copyrighted if I show it probably, but go watch the match. Even if you just watch the highlights on ESPN, you'll see this cool sequence. Then CM Punk shows a march to Bret Hart, as there's a sequence here where AJ Lee has Becky Lynch in the Black Widow, and then CM Punk gets right next to her and puts Seth Rollins in the sharpshooter. We see a double pedigree by Rollins and Lynch for the two, and then they try to humiliate CM Punk. They try to go for a double GTS. Becky Lynch with a GTS on AJ Lee, and Seth Rollins on a GTS on CM Punk. But to no avail, CM Punk manages to get down. He clotheslines Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch is stood there trying to work out what to do with AJ Lee. Now this is probably the most interesting spot of the match. CM Punk has Seth Rollins up in the GTS position on the ring announcer's table, and Becky Lynch picks up AJ Lee on the other table and throws her into Rollins and Punk, who both go through the table. It's a really inventive and interesting use of a mixed tag scenario. Not long after, we see AJ Lee get Becky Lynch and the Black Widow and pick up the victory. If you're still watching, I'd appreciate if you comment and tell me what you thought of the show or what you thought of this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. I enjoy making wrestling content, and I've been a lifelong wrestling fan. When I was watching this, it was about 4 AM and I was disengaged and kind of uninterested. I've never been a huge Drew McIntyre fan, although he has put on great matches, as you'll all know. And early on, you get this Alabama slam onto the steps by Drew McIntyre onto Cody Rhodes, and I was thinking, how on earth did he make that look as safe as it did? And because when it was being set up, I was like, how do you even do this safely? Cody Rhodes is going to be in deep trouble here. This is quite a nasty situation. We get some pretty standard stuff on Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre here as they try to hit moves on each other, and there's reversals. There's at one point, Cody Rhodes goes for a crossroads on Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre pushes Cody Rhodes, and we get a near ref bump as he just misses the ref. Cody Rhodes hits the crossroads not long after this and gets a close 2 count. Now this is a really cool part. Drew McIntyre has Cody Rhodes down on the outside, and he goes for a Claymore, but the referee knows what he's heading for, stops him, and then as the referee moves, Drew McIntyre does it, and he goes through the front of the announce table as Cody Rhodes moves out the way. It's such a cool sequence. I love this. We get some more back and forth standard wrestling until Cody Rhodes hits that crossroads and gets the victory over Drew McIntyre. This was a good match, and the Wrestlepalooza pay-per-view was kind of... It wasn't terrible. It's nowhere near the most terrible pay-per-view we've seen. I think the context and circumstances around the show caused it to be received like it did. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena alright match, ruined by the ending sequence in my opinion. The other matches were just slow and average at best, mediocre I would say. Io Sky vs Stephanie Vaca is really the only match that I could see being on my best of the year list, and I think that's a problem when there's I think every pay-per-view should probably have a contender for that, or a contender in two. But anyway, if you enjoyed the Wrestlepalooza pay-per-view kind of review, like and subscribe, comment what you thought of the pay-per-view, and I will see you next time.